Hi everyone, it's day 4 of the Inktober Tangles Challenge 2024. You can see that I added 2 Ambler tangles, so it's from day 2, just because I saw that day 4 brings us another organic tangle. And I thought that, just organic tangles next to each other, it might be too much. So I extended these 2. And this is something that you can consider if you like it. So I will nest this new tangle right here. But to achieve some contrast between these different tangles, I extended the geometric one towards the middle so that there's some balance, so that there's not only these wavy organic lines here. There's contrast between different shapes. I like that. Who would have ever thought that I would complain about too many organic tangles? Well, that's something new. Anyway, the new tangle, Feist by Stephanie Jennifer, starts with this kind of a diamond shape. And from that shape, I will draw 2 C shapes that will, you see how they are going out of this central part of the diamond. It looks almost like an owl, right? I don't know if it's just me. I like those animals. So maybe it's just me. And then I want to add the top part, but I don't want to go over my N. So I will first draw an aura line and another one, just in case. And of course, as you add your tangles, depending on what format you use, if you're following along, then your tangles will be placed in a different way. And you can choose how to handle these borders and where you want to go with the tangles over the letters, or where you want to keep the letters visible. So this one I will ink in just like I did at the beginning. And then another one I will keep an aura. So this is the basic shape of Feist by Stephanie Jennifer, and then you can decide what to do to embellish it. I will draw a kind of a flux shape here on top. And I don't want this to look like an animal or something, so I will try to do something that will make it look less like an animal. I don't know why it reminds me of an animal. I'm sure that it wasn't supposed to be one. And I don't know, honestly, what to do with these shapes right here. I will try to figure it out. And because it's quite a small tangle, I'm thinking about adding another one. And I'm also thinking about adding another muka as a filler right here. So it seems that muka will be the theme that will just spread throughout my whole Inktober challenge drawing. And I will, as always, because there is stipple, the tangle that consists of orbs. They are usually smaller and it's used as a filler. But then there are these orbs that you can use to fill some spaces, and I don't actually consider it a tangle like I do with muka, for example. I consider it as an embellishment. So I will use certainly some of orbs here and there to fill some spaces because of the way that I tangle. I will certainly have some spaces between my tangles. And again, I'm inking in these crevices between my tangles, and I'm doing that to just have more contrast between the tangled part and the background. Because it will be very busy, as I said, I think that the drawing will benefit from some of these solid or spaces that are covered with solid ink. I'm using an 05 to do this inking in. And I'm thinking about adding another one of these Feist tangles, but maybe I will add it somewhere else. Let me try to rotate this and draw it here. So again, starting with this kind of a diamond shape. And you can see how it's imperfect in my case. And I would ask you to give yourself permission to draw these in an imperfect way. Now, instead of drawing the top the same way that I did before, I will draw it like this. And now it looks even more like some kind of a cartoon character, right? If you would just put these little eyes inside, it would totally be an animal. I don't know which one. Some kind of bird, I guess. And to finish, I will add a few embellishments. So I'm basically adding aura lines inside. And you can see how I went out of this pencil border here. And this border here is not to necessarily keep me inside. It's just to consider using it, maybe partially. And maybe, I don't know, I will see how things progress. And with this particular tangle, I just decided to disregard the border and go outside of it. I'm still kind of pondering about what to do with this central space. I'm not sure yet. And again, I'm just inking in some of these, but because I didn't ink in everything right here inside this tangle, you see how I flicked these lines so that they are disappearing, and I will add some shades with my little pencil here. So I will add a heavy shade below Ambler, and also below these little moon shapes. I think that you can notice how I have already forgotten the names of the tangles that I use in previous prompts, and that's fine. I'm not really making a big effort to remember them. And as everybody who takes my classes knows, it's not really my forte. So actually this one, I think it's quite cute with this crazy haircut thing. Let me figure out how I will shade these. So I'm starting with adding the shades around this central part, and then I will try doing this smiley shape shading like I would in an orb. So this will end up looking like two orbs if I continue doing the same thing that I would do in a Zentangle or any kind of orb, or maybe in a muka stem like here. Let me do the muka as well, I don't want to forget about it, and these little orbs on top. And I will add just a little bit here and on the bottom part, and also here at the bottom it's like offering kind of shading on this bottom diamond. And for the highlights I will place the white charcoal on top, and in this flux too. Well, this almost reminds me of boobs. I don't know if I should say that. I don't consider this to be a word to avoid. But in Europe, I think we don't have the same standards for some words, especially for curses, like an average American has. So I hope no one's offended. Well, now that I'm looking at this, I'm thinking about maybe adding another embler here. But again, as I already said before, I don't want to add it in a way that I really imagine what it would look like if you saw the whole thing. So I'm quite relaxed about drawing it because it's only there for the texture. It doesn't need to be accurate. And with this bottom part here, I will do similar thing, doing these shades, smiley shapes on this central part, and some shade on the part of this basically a top part of the tangle, but here it's upside down. Blending these little guys, and then with my charcoal white again add some highlights on top. And I also want to add some on top of these shapes. And with my Jelly Roll 10, I will actually add, like I usually do, some shiniest highlights. Oops, and when you go over your black line, if you want to have tidy and dark black lines like I do, just retrace the line. And what I forgot to do are the highlights on my muka and some shiniest highlights again with the white jelly roll. I'm really curious to see where this will lead me, and I'm actually happy with the way that I decided to play with this, because I really value curiosity. It's one of my top desirable characteristics. I think being curious and playful and fearless in the way that you create art or even do other things in life is something to cherish and encourage. So I'm really curious about seeing where this experiment will take me and how it will look as time progresses. I know that many people use their sketchbooks and really plan ahead for these Inktober challenges. And if I did that, I would have not done it. I would have not finished it. I think the only way for me to do this successfully is to do it like this, without many plans, and just make decisions as I go along. I will extend this again into a muka, and this little triangle between my tangles I'm inking in, and I think I will add another muka right here. So the two are butting heads, and again I will ink in the space between them, and I think this is where I will stop for today, and tomorrow I will add another tangle, and then at some point I will also shade and highlight these mukas. But for today I think that was it, and we added these two Feist tangles. And before I stop the recording, let me just thank you for following along, for joining me, and I hope to see you tomorrow again. Bye.